I think at this point, go ahead and we're going to move on to the math department. So we're going to have Dr. Rader.
Hello.
And let's see, Dr. Reyes. Are you there, Dr. Reyes, too, I think? Let's see.
I'm here.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Miller. Have a good evening. We'll have Dr. Rader and Dr. Reyes on here now. So if anybody has any specific questions about math, you can start putting those in the chat and we'll get to those as soon as we can. I think to start off with, maybe you can just talk some generalities, I guess, about math and what students are able to do with it. I think sometimes there's a lot of questions about, what specific opportunities are there within the math department, and then what can the students actually do with that degree. So if you want to kind of start there, we'll see if we get some questions in. Does that work for you?
Sure. So my name is Dave Rader. I'm the head of the math department here at Rose-Hulman, joined by my colleague, Dr. Eric Reyes, graduate of Rose-Hulman, so he can also speak to some of these sort of things. So our program is very broad in the fact that we have a large number of faculty members. We have 26 faculty members in the department full-time because we teach everyone. Every student on campus is required at a minimum to take 5 mathematics classes. Many take 6 or more. Computer science, software engineering take upwards of 9. And so in order to satisfy all that demand with our notion of small classes, we need to have a huge department. And what that benefits you as a student coming here to Rose is that we touch upon various, a wide range of topics within mathematics. Some computer science-based, more discrete mathematics, continuous engineering science-based mathematics, statistics, operations research, or optimization. We have a group in biomathematics. We just really run the gamut of things that you can do. And with that, our students can pick and choose sort of the curriculum they want, in essence. And that allows them to have a wide variety of options from employers coming out of here. We typically send anywhere from 30 to 50% of our graduates each year, our primary math majors, to graduate school. But in the past few years, we've been sending students to defense contractors. Booz Allen Hamilton's been really grabbing a lot of our students lately. We've seen a lot of students going into consulting work or data science related work lately. We haven't sent as many actuaries recently as we have in the past, but that is still always an option, and our program really sets you up well for that. We've done some other aerospace technology companies, Northrop Grumman. We really do run the range of possibilities in terms of things that people can do. I see in one of the chats the possibility of double majoring in CS and math. That's actually one of the more common double majors on campus. And so a lot of the companies that Dr. Miller had mentioned that hire their graduates, the Microsofts, the Googles, the Amazons, the Groupons, the Expedias, they often grab our math CS double majors because that allows those students to have different career opportunities than they would if they just had a math or just had a CS major. I'm seeing things fly through the chat. So Matt, I'll let you figure out which ones you want me to answer.
Yeah, and you can feel free to, if there's any that you see that you think are going to be good, you can feel free to go ahead and answer those. Dr. Miller pretty much ran it last time, so if you see anything you think are interesting, feel free to go with those. I think one of them that came through could maybe just to touch on a little bit of the math electives that pair well with CS. Because I know you guys have a super broad range of classes. So since we have a lot of CS SE students that are still hanging on here, If we can just talk a little bit briefly, maybe about some of the good electives I think that go along with that.
Yeah, so I mean, we have a number of discrete math courses that pair very well with computer science department. So as part of, if you're a computer science or a software engineering major, you have to take two different discrete math oriented courses through our curriculum in addition to probability. From there, you can take additional courses such as graph theory, a lot of our CS students will take, or algebraic coding theory. A lot of the students will take more algorithm-based courses, such as the deterministic operations research course. There have been a lot of students who have been taking the data science-oriented courses that we offer, as we share the data science second major with computer science. So things like data mining, machine learning, deep learning, all of those are taught through the math department. The courses in statistics are always good, especially now with a more data focus. Those are probably a lot of the really popular ones that we've offered that are touched upon with CS students. Dr. Reyes, am I missing anything that you can think of?
I think that's a good list. We offer a statistical computing course,
yeah,
which a lot of the students who are double majoring in math and data science like to pick up. It's geared a little bit, it's a very broad class. So we have engineers who have very little coding background and CS students very well versed in coding background. And it seems to be popular with that full range of students. Link, one of our graduates last year was a math major, stats concentration, but also kind of moved towards the coding aspect. And she was recognized this year as an up and coming rising star in data science. And so she's with a consulting company doing mostly coding and has found a home there, even though she was a math major, not a CS major.
And in fact, the year before, the rising star was another math major. So that we've actually won that award for students, or students of ours have won that award 2 years in a row.
That's great. I think if you could, I don't know if these necessarily go hand in hand, but a little bit. There's a question about fast track, and then a question about dual enrollment courses. And I think with the dual enrollment, if you could talk a little bit about how placement works, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so let me start with fast track first. I didn't see the question fly through. This summer, fast track will not be offered. We're going to concentrate our resources within the institute on the accelerated math and physics program. So in there, you have to have had a pretty good chance of earning credit for both Calc 1 and Calc 2 elsewhere, say through your AP exams. That program would allow you then in 5 weeks to earn credit for Calc 3, Physics 1, and Physics 2. And that's a 5-week intensive program. I'm not sure what the status of fast track will be moving forward after this summer. We'll have to wait and see on that, probably in the fall. In terms of other credits, dual enrollment particularly, we really are very careful with those. The department, if you take a dual enrollment course and it's offered only through in your high school with other high school students, chances are we're not going to give you credit directly for those courses. So if you took a Calc 1 course as dual enrollment, we probably won't give you credit for Calc 1. We may give you some credits, recognizing that, yes, you are trying to transfer in college credits. So we will give you some, but it won't be for Calc 1. That being said, all students have an opportunity to take an exam during orientation where they can earn credits for those courses for Calc 1 and Calc 2 if they score sufficiently well. So there is still that opportunity. And the reason we're really careful on dual enrollment is, unlike AP, which has a really successful approach to making sure that students know the material, with dual enrollments, we see such a wide variety of backgrounds for students who've come in through there. And unfortunately, students who've taken dual enrollment courses in the past and then earned those credits didn't do as well in the subsequent courses as they would have hoped or we would have hoped. And so we want to make sure that their background is appropriate and sufficient given the technical aspects of not only the math major, but every major on campus. We do accept, if you take a dual enrollment and it's through a local college directly, so you're taught by a college professor with other college students, be it on an online environment, which a lot of them are doing right now, or on the physical campus, we will take those classes, or we will take those credits directly. So if you took a Calc 1 course that way, say at a local community college with the college professor, I'll just need verification from the professor that said, yep, that's what I did. And then you'll earn the credit for Calc 1 here at Rose and start in Calc 2.
I will say I was a student who came in only with AP credit for Calc 1. I didn't do fast track or any of the other kind of quick programs. And I was still able to double major without overloading for the majority of my time at Rose. We have a very broad curriculum. So it's not like by not taking advantage of some of those dual credits or things, you're starting behind. You can enter starting at Calc 1 and easily pick up a double major if your primary is math and have flexibility in your schedule. And I still feel like I came out successful, even though I wasn't part of the fast track group in my year.
Yeah, Dr.
Awesome.
Reyes did earn the award for the outstanding senior math major the year he graduated. So yeah, just a little bit of success there.
All right, the next one, actually, I think I have been involved with these chats for a while, and this next question I didn't even know was a thing, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this one out there. But the question's about how often do math majors participate in the summer study abroad opportunity in Budapest? You guys have a specific opportunity in Budapest?
Yeah, so there's a Budapest program for math, typically for math courses that's offered. We've had one or two go through. It's not something that our students regularly do. I know this past year we had a student who was interested in doing it, but with everything obviously in this environment, that moved online. I just got an email earlier today from the director. I get ones regularly asking us to announce the program that in the fall, they're going to go back to their normal approach. So are they able to do it? Absolutely. Have we been successful? I don't think a lot of our students have actually attempted it, to be honest. But it is something that's doable. A lot of our students in the summer will actually do summer research programs, either at Rose with some of our professors or at other universities across the country.
Okay, that's awesome. Like I said, that's just something I hadn't heard about before, so that was new to me. But kind of talking, I guess, along those lines, another question actually has to do with just study abroad in general for math majors. Are there good opportunities, or where are those students typically going if they're doing study abroad?
Again, it's not something our students have generally done. We have placed some, so we had students do a study abroad recently in Chile. We've had students go to Ulm in Germany. Some have gone to Sweden over the past 10 years, but it's not it's not something that's prevalent. But the opportunities are there, and some of our students have in fact done those.
Yeah, and that's pretty universal across campus, I guess, for everybody that's on here. That's not just a math major thing.
Yeah.
There aren't as many students that study abroad as I think we have opportunities and this campus would like. So there are definitely opportunities in all the different areas, but I just kind of wanted to make sure that it's not a math department thing. It's just kind of a Rose student thing in general. So
yeah, I mean, we do have someone dedicated on campus to international programs that really look for such opportunities when people are looking to do that. So it's not like we don't have the capability. It's just our students generally choose other things.
right. So towards the beginning of the session, you mentioned about how many students go to grad school. Could you talk a little bit about maybe where those opportunities are, what they're doing, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I'd seen a question fly through, sort of the quality of the program where we're sending people. We have sent people all over the place. So we've sent people to Georgia Tech, MIT, Northwestern. Right now we have students at Minnesota, Rice, I think still Purdue, Lehigh in Pennsylvania, Southern Cal, NYU we've sent students to. It is, I know I just saw something in my email about it recently. We are seeing students go to high quality places, earning their degrees, both master's and PhD, and moving from there. So, we have a good track record of sending students to various locations.
Awesome. I think there was one in there somewhat about this, and we had a couple pre-submitted questions as well about the research opportunities. So could you talk a little bit about maybe I know you mentioned that students stay at Rose sometimes during the summer for research, but just a little bit about what they're doing there or what they're doing at other institutions when they're doing summer research experiences.
Yeah, so at Rose, we have a summer undergraduate research program. We call it RSERF. And it allows sort of the pairing of faculty members who may have a summer project in mind with students going through that. And our students have generally taken advantage of that. We typically have a couple faculty members who have such things in mind. It's paid, there's a little stipend for it. And so those opportunities to just stay around and do some research always exist. It seemed to always exist. They're always often there. At other schools, there's a broader program run through the NSF. It's called the Research Experiences for Undergraduates, REUs. And there's probably 30 to 50 of them in mathematics across the country. We have one now as well, but we're limited in the number of our own students we can take. We generally can only take maybe one a year. But our students go to these other places. You have to apply, but given the background that our students typically have, because at Rose, when you're in a quarter system, a lot of our classes in a quarter, in a 10-week quarter, match up really well with what other students do in a 14 or 15-week semester. So as I've often told students who are looking to Rose, you're getting, 30 to 50% more education by having that quarter system. And so that allows other schools to look at our students and say, wow, they've really taken a lot of different classes. They have a lot of different backgrounds. This is someone I can definitely use in my program. Yeah, I see Dr. Reyes has mentioned the RUs at Indiana University, Purdue University at Indianapolis. We've had a number of students who've gone up there and done that as one example in the last couple of years.
And outside of summer programs, a lot of faculty are willing to engage in research kind of outside of the normal curriculum if students are interested. So I've done a couple, and I know other faculty are currently doing sophomores and juniors who just establish a real interest in class on a particular topic and say, I really like that topic. Can I study that a little bit more? And because of the size of our department, we're usually able to accommodate those requests and say, yeah, absolutely. Let's form a class. Let's form a curriculum on that, and we'll study that for the next year or so and see what comes of it. In addition to what we would typically do with our year-long senior capstone experience.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. And every time I think that I get information about the math department, it seems like there's a lot of flexibility and opportunity for students to kind of create their own experience more so than some of the other departments on campus. So anybody that's really interested in math would have, the opportunity to do that kind of on a little bit more one-to-one basis from time to time. And I think even when we're talking about research opportunities, the students that you mentioned, Dr. Reyes, about having opportunities as a sophomore to get involved with research is going to give them, grad school opportunities, research opportunities as an upperclassman, more regularly, I think, than students at other institutions that don't have that type of experience that early on. So that's really, really good to know.
Yeah, from a, just harping on that a little bit, we are probably the most flexible major on campus. In terms of, the number of elective courses you can take, which means not only courses within our department beyond the required ones, but outside of the department. So you can really craft your own program, if you will. And given the number of distinct courses that we teach courses, the number of different courses we teach in a given year rivals that of the bigger schools. We're a small school department that's not a small school curriculum. So you really get, come here to the best of both worlds, the programs of a larger school with the intimacy of a smaller school like Rose-Hulman.
Great. I know we had one about internships that students are doing. So we talked a lot about research in the summer, but are there specific internship opportunities that you come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, I know Dr. Reyes had answered part of that in one of the chats. We have them from time to time. They're not as, internships are almost cultural with the engineering departments and even some with CS. That's not the case with the math department. We have them from time to time, dedicated ones. We've had some with Ball Aerospace. We've seen others with some of the consulting type companies, or we've done ones with actuarial. But it seems like most of our students want to get involved in some sort of summer research. Now, to say that there isn't the opportunity, the career services is always looking for opportunities for our students. And they're excited because our students allow them to open up new avenues and explore things that they're not used to exploring. So if you have in mind the idea that you want to do a summer internship or a co-op, while we may not have the necessarily track record based on interest of our past students, our career services will do everything they can to find you one.
For me, I'll be honest, I decided to be a math major because I was good at math in high school and I didn't really know what else to do with myself. And so it took me a couple of years before I fell into what I really loved at Rose, which was statistics. And so I had that kind of classical training for the first 2 years. And like Dr. Rader said, there's not a lot of internships for that. You're more research focused. After I became more interested in stats, that's where some more of the internship opportunities were opened up. And so my students that I tend to talk about, those are all stats focused students. And so they're looking for data centric type internships. And they are, I would say, competitive with data science interested students from other departments.
Great. So we got just a few minutes left here, and I think we got a couple questions that are probably fairly quick. So the one that came up earlier about, I guess, basically to what level are the students able to take placement exams, or where, let's see, what was it specifically? I guess how high do those kind of entry level exams in order to place into certain courses go within the math department?
Calc 1, 2, and 3 are available every summer. For our differential equations curriculum, we really, it's a case-by-case basis, and it doesn't happen all that often. But Calc 1, 2, so if you're taking AP, it's A, B, B, C, and then multivariable calculus. It's really what we're looking at.
Great. So next one I think is kind of interesting. Do you have very many math majors that pursue engineering minors?
You know, I don't know. I'll be honest. Because I don't track. I normally don't track, you know, the minors of our own students. I know a lot of our students get minors within our department. We get a fair number of double majors with other engineering departments. So I think that part of it with the other departments, with the other engineering departments, they're entry level courses. There are so many prerequisites. I would say it probably doesn't happen all that often, but it's definitely possible with our curriculum.
I think it's
You
probably
really
more
have,
common for the students who started off as an engineer, became a math major, and then used that foundation to pick up a minor.
yeah. I mean, there are 13 elective courses on our curriculum that a student basically can use for whatever. Some of them have to be at a 200 level or higher, but that's plenty of space for a minor or two. Even if you came in with 0 credits, you just did no AP, no dual enrollment, nothing. You still have all those credits that are available to you to pursue minors, second majors. And if you come in with credits, obviously your opportunities grow. So does it happen a lot? I don't think so, but it doesn't mean it can't. I mean, we're really good.
Great. With just a couple minutes left here, any kind of last thoughts, I guess, from either you, Dr. Rader, or Dr. Reyes, either one. And if you guys have a chance, if you wouldn't mind putting your email in the chat as well, I'm sure there'll be some questions we'll get after. But any kind of final thoughts you'd like any of the students, you know, to kind of leave with tonight?
Dr. Reyes, you've been monitoring the chat more than I have. And I appreciate you answering them. Why don't you start off answering that one, and I'll jump in, because maybe there's something you that we missed.
I guess my final comment would be that when you leave college, right, you're not going to remember every detail of every class, just like you won't remember every detail of your high school life. But I can point to big things I learned at Rose that have sustained me. And the two are, I learned how to communicate mathematics at a much higher level than when I entered. What we consider our real analysis course, our proof-based course, made me very competitive at graduate school to be able to just make arguments and not have that be my stumbling block. I was able to focus on the new material and just communicate pretty seamlessly. And the second is, I always give Dr. Rader credit for this. He taught me this one thing, this one tool that he had found really helpful for solving a class of problems. And at the time, I just thought of it as like a side thing I learned in class. Turned out to be like the most helpful tool for me as a graduate student. And now I teach it to my students regularly. So just like having a faculty member, they'll kind of say, like, at one point in the course, I know this may seem small, but you're going to use this a lot. And I can trust that that's a true statement, because I've seen it over and over that when he said I'm going to use that a lot, I've used that a lot, to the point that now I just try to beat that into my students. And I hope that they trust me as much as I trusted him.
And what is that, Dr. Reyes? I saw that question pop up.
Yeah. So in probability theory, integrals generally have a certain form. And so there's a shortcut way to take the integration so that you don't have to go through all of the mechanics of integration techniques. You can take a shortcut, so to speak, and just reformulate the integral so that you know what the solution is going to be every time. And it's such a beautiful idea of just making use of prior knowledge in order to solve a problem.
In other words, for those of you who may not have followed a lot of that, too often when we're young students, we think that everything has to be done by putting our blinders on, you know, our horse blinders, where you just put your head down, you crank through a problem, and you know, you go from step A to step Z, and that's the only way to do it. And as you see enough, you recognize, well, wait a minute, if I start at step A, it's going to lead me eventually to step M. I'm going to recognize something. So I really don't have to do everything between them. I can just jump from A to M if I'm smart and if I recognize the form that I'm going to be dealing with. And then from M, I move on. And that's really what this is about. That's what he's talking about. It's just, you know, using prior knowledge so that you don't have to just plow through everything every single time. I think I would, you know, I would part with something I had said earlier. You know, if you come to Rose-Hulman to study mathematics, either as a primary, as your first major, or as a second major, pairing it with, say, CS, or an engineering field, or physics, something else. And we've run the gamut as second majors. You do get the best of both worlds. Okay, you get the intimacy, you get the knowledge, you know, the one-on-one contact with your faculty members, that they know who you are, that they'll talk to you, they'll ask you how you're doing, if you're participating in sports or something else, they'll ask you, they'll talk to you, you'll really get to know them. And that's part of the Rose-Hulman culture, but that's especially true in the mathematics department. At the same time, you get a curriculum, opportunities for different types of classes that you really only normally see at much larger schools, right? Our curriculum is not the curriculum of a 2,000 student school. Our curriculum and the courses we offer every year regularly, and the opportunities students get, are really that of a 10 or 20,000 student school. You get the best of both worlds in that case. If you want to be active in, you know, outside extracurricular type programs, be it like you love doing math contests, or you like helping out when other students do math contests, or just introducing younger students to the joys of mathematics, we have that as well. And I'll let you in on a little secret there. You know, the big professional society in mathematics is going to be giving us recognition for all of that sort of outreach work that we're doing. And each thing that we do always involves our students. So if that excites you, if all that excites you, really, I can't think of a better place.
Great. Awesome. Thank you very much, Dr. Rader and Dr. Reyes. Appreciate the time this evening. I know that they both put their emails in the chat, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to either Dr. Rader or Dr. Reyes. Everybody have a good evening. I don't know, I know we have students from all over, but it also seems like the weather this last few days has been all over, so everybody stay safe out there as well, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you all. Have a good night.